I'll show you how to do these using my TI calculator. You might be using a different type of scientific calculator, but you should be able to enter in the keystrokes as I'm showing them to you. So let's look at this first formula. We have to calculate the amount when we know that what the principal is and what the rate is, and also the number of periods that we are compounding and the time in years. The compounding periods are annually. Are given as an annual part of a year, and so T is in years. So the principal amount is 15,000, and R is 8%, so that's 0.08. N is 12 because we're compounding. I guess we're compounding, or we're depositing. It's 8% monthly, I think. You can't see that part of the problem. And so this exponent here is N times T is 12 times 21. So let's see how that goes into the calculator. I'll enter 15,000 times, actually with this calculator I don't need to use a multiplication symbol, I can just open parentheses and enter 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12. And the calculator will do this calculation in the correct order, because the calculator, as a scientific calculator, will do the division first and then add 1, which is exactly what you want it to do. Now we have to raise to a power. Now on my calculator, when I raise to a power, I automatically get a little exponent area here. But on your calculator, if you don't have that, you may need to enclose these two numbers in parentheses as I have them written here, because if you don't, the calculator will only use the very first number as an exponent, and then it'll just multiply times 21. But I can just go 12 times 21, and it stays in the exponent, as you can see in the display. But now I have to jump out of the exponent to then press enter and get the final answer. And I have to round to the nearest dollar. And so the correct answer is $80,036, properly rounded. Okay, that exponent is what causes a lot of problems, and also not understanding how the rules of order of operations for algebra work. In this next problem, you have to use this rather calculated formula, which I've repeated here for you, and then I've entered the numbers right here, so I can see how I have to enter this into the calculator. Now that numerator is just multiplication and division, so you don't really need any grouping symbols around that. However, since the denominator has two terms, one here and one there, you'll have to, after you press this long division sign, you'll have to open a parenthesis and then open another parenthesis. So I'll show you how I would enter this into the calculator. I start with 24,000 times, and again, I'm just going to use the times this time, even though I could have used parenthesis for multiplication. It's 0.0575 divided by 4, and that's the numerator, and that has to be divided by, open the brackets, here's the brackets, and then since you have to add these things together before you do the exponent part here, you have to open another bracket or parenthesis, so two parentheses, and then in the inside you don't need any parentheses. 1 plus r is 0.0575, n is 4. You don't need any grouping symbols there, because again the calculator, being a scientific calculator, will do this division first and then it'll add 1. Then you want to close this parenthesis to prepare to enter your exponent. Now since the exponent here is just 4 times 4, 16, I'm just going to go ahead and enter 16. Let's make it easy on yourself. Now I'm going to hop out of the exponent, and then there's a subtraction sign, so here's my subtraction. I have to subtract 1. Now I can actually just press enter here, and the calculator will close all the parentheses properly and just calculate the final value. So when I press enter, I get 1,344.8. I'm told to round to the nearest dollar, so it's $1,345, which you'll notice is the correct answer. There it is, $1,345. Now, even though your answers in part B are incorrect, you did the calculation correctly based on your incorrect answer for A, so I know you can do that part of the problem. It's mostly using the calculator, I think, that's giving you the problem. So let's see, one more I believe. We're going to use this formula with the calculator, and again, I've already written down the formula that we're using, and I've entered the numbers. I've written the numbers down. I suggest you do that. So let's now crunch this one out into the calculator. So again, in the numerator, we're going to have to use all these grouping symbols. And I'll show you how you have to also use the grouping symbols here in the denominator because that's you're dividing by a fraction. So we're going to go 90, and then we're going to open a bracket and a parenthesis for 1 plus 0.055 divided by 12. Now close the parenthesis to prepare to put the exponent in. Now this time again I have an exponent that's a product, so if your calculator doesn't do it this way, giving you a little exponent like this calculator does, you'll have to use parentheses. 12 times 35, and then you would close your parentheses. I'm going to hop out of the exponent, and then I have minus 1. Now I'm going to close this parenthesis or bracket, and that's my whole numerator, and that has to be divided by the fraction 0.055 divided by 12. You need those parentheses around that fraction, otherwise the calculator is not going to divide by 0.055 divided by 12. It will do the algebra incorrectly if you don't use those parentheses there. I'll just press enter. I should get the correct value. See how your answer was 114,278, which is really close to the correct answer, 114,383. We're going to round off because we're going to the nearest dollar. And again, I think you know how to do the B answer because based on your incorrect answer for A, you have the correct answer for B, just your answer for A was not right. So I hope this helps you. I don't think I have any others to show you because this one is exactly the same as one of the other ones, so you might want to practice by doing this problem with the calculator to see if you can do it on your own.